Before the sun rises over Sri Lanka, before heat and human noise spill into the land, the island belongs to something else. The air is cool, heavy with moisture, and the forest holds its breath. Leaves glisten in half-light, insects hum softly, and the ground remembers the footsteps of night. Somewhere within this quiet, a presence moves, unannounced, unseen, yet absolute. On this island, there are no lions, there are no tigers. There is only one predator at the top, and it is already awake. The Sri Lankan leopard moves like a thought rather than a body. Its rosetted coat breaks apart its outline, turning muscle and bone into fragments of shadow and light. Each step is silent, each pause deliberate. This animal does not rush because it does not need to. It knows this land intimately, the dry plains that crack under drought, the dense rainforest where light struggles to reach the floor, the ancient reservoirs built by forgotten civilizations. Across all of them, the leopard reigns alone, shaped by isolation and sharpened by necessity. Unlike leopards elsewhere in Asia or Africa, this one grew without competition from larger predators. Over thousands of years, that absence changed everything. Males became heavier, broader through the shoulders, their jaws stronger, their confidence absolute. In Sri Lanka, the leopard did not need to share, and so it evolved to dominate. Today it stands as the island's apex predator, a solitary ruler whose presence holds the ecosystem together in ways few ever see. As dawn spreads across the forest, the leopard pauses. Its ears rotate independently, mapping sound with precision. A distant alarm call from a bird, the rustle of grass, the faint scent of deer carried on shifting air. To the leopard, these are not random signals, but sentences in a language learned at birth. It knows which calls signal fear and which are empty noise. It knows when prey is careless and when it is alert. Knowledge here is not memory alone. It lives in muscle, in timing, in restraint. Hunger sharpens the moment. The leopard lowers its body, belly brushing the earth, muscles coiling beneath the skin. Ahead, an axis deer grazes, unaware, separated from the group by a few fatal meters. The leopard waits. It always waits. Energy is precious on this island, especially when seasons turn harsh and prey becomes scarce. When the attack comes, it is not a chase, but an explosion. Silent acceleration, ground erased in seconds, impact sudden and final. A suffocating bite ends the struggle quickly. There is no drama, no excess. Survival here rewards efficiency. The forest exhales again. Dragging the carcass, the leopard reveals its true strength, hauling prey heavier than itself toward a tree. With practiced ease, it climbs, pulling the weight upward, away from scavengers that would steal what it earned. In the branches, feeding begins, methodical, focused, uninterrupted. Blood darkens bark, flies gather, life passes from one body into another, continuing a cycle older than the island itself. Without this predator, deer would overrun the land, vegetation would thin, and the forest would slowly unravel. The leopard does not know this, yet its existence enforces balance with every successful hunt. As the day grows hotter, the leopard rests. It chooses shade carefully, a forked tree or rocky hollow where wind passes through and insects are fewer. Scars cross its body, silent records of battles fought, territories challenged, boundaries defended. In Sri Lanka, leopards live alone by design. Adults meet only briefly to mate or to fight. Territories overlap like invisible maps drawn in scent, urine sprayed onto rocks and trees, chemical warnings that can linger for days. Conflict is costly, and most disputes end without contact. But when they do not, teeth and claws decide who stays and who disappears. Night changes everything. As darkness settles, the leopard becomes something else entirely. Its pupils widen, drawing in starlight, granting vision far beyond human limits. Shadows turn into pathways, movement into opportunity. This is when the island truly belongs to it. The leopard walks familiar routes, along dry riverbeds, through tall grass, beside ancient ruins reclaimed by jungle. It moves through history as easily as terrain, a living thread connecting past and present. Not far away, another leopard moves differently. A female, cautious, alert, her attention divided. Somewhere hidden deep in thick undergrowth, her cubs wait. Born blind and helpless, they are the most vulnerable beings in this world. She changes their den often, carrying them gently by the scruff, because discovery means death. Male leopards will kill cubs that are not their own, a brutal strategy written into survival. Yet within this harsh reality, care persists. She grooms them, feeds them, and one day she will teach them to hunt. Months will pass before those cubs understand what it means to move silently, to wait without impatience, to strike without hesitation. Play will become practice. Failure will become instruction. And when they are ready, their mother will drive them away, forcing them to claim a fragment of the island for themselves. Many will not survive. Some will vanish without trace. But a few will succeed, becoming ghosts of the forest, unseen but essential. The greatest danger they face does not always come from hunger or rivals. Beyond the trees, the island is changing. Roads cut through ancient corridors. Snares set for other animals tighten around leopard limbs. Poisoned carcasses lie in wait, placed in anger or fear. Sri Lanka holds one of the highest densities of leopards on Earth, yet it is also one of the most crowded islands. Here, wilderness and humanity collide daily, and the leopard must adapt again or disappear. Still, it endures. In places like Yala and Wilpatu, it has learned that vehicles can be ignored, that humans inside metal shells are not immediate threats. Beyond the parks, it moves at night, using ravines and forest fragments as lifelines. It hunts smaller prey when larger animals vanish. Flexibility becomes survival. This adaptability is the leopard's greatest strength, and its quiet tragedy, drawing it ever closer to a world that does not always make room for it. As the night deepens, the leopard climbs once more into the shadows. The forest hums around it, alive and balanced, because it is alive. And as dawn waits just beyond the horizon, the story of this predator is far from over. As dawn finally breaks, light spills gently into the forest, touching leaves and stone with equal patience. The leopard remains still, draped across a branch like a living shadow. Its breathing is slow, controlled, conserving energy for what the next night will demand. Sleep comes lightly to a predator like this. Even at rest, its senses remain open, tuned to the smallest change in sound or scent. Survival here has never allowed complete surrender. Across the island, the seasons turn. Monsoon rains arrive without warning, transforming dust into rivers and paths into currents. The leopard adapts without complaint. It swims when it must, powerful forelimbs cutting through floodwater, head held steady above the surface. It waits when rain drives prey into hiding. When drought follows, it walks farther, hunts smarter, and endures hunger with discipline rather than desperation. Generations of isolation have taught this animal one truth above all others. Those who adapt survive, and those who do not are erased. High in the central hills, where mist clings to tea plantations and forests fragment into narrow corridors, a different kind of leopard moves. Darker, quieter. In rare moments, the light reveals a coat so black, it seems to absorb the world around it. This melanistic leopard is no myth. Its rosettes still exist, hidden beneath the darkness, visible only when sunlight strikes at the right angle. Genetics alone shape this shadow, but survival keeps it alive. In these colder, wetter forests, darkness is camouflage, and mystery is protection. Science traces the leopard's lineage back through time, through land bridges and ancient migrations, to ancestors that crossed into this island when seas were lower and continents closer. Cut off from the mainland, the Sri Lankan leopard became something distinct. Genetic studies reveal low diversity but remarkable resilience, a population shaped by endurance rather than abundance. Every individual carries the weight of that history, every birth and death echoing across a species confined to a single island. Yet history moves faster now. Human settlement expands, forests shrink, and the leopard's territory fractures. At night, it walks the edges of villages, drawn by dogs, goats, and cattle that move without the instincts of wild prey. Sometimes hunger wins, sometimes curiosity, and sometimes that decision costs everything. Retaliation is swift and unforgiving. Wire snares do not discriminate. Poison does not warn. A single mistake can end a lineage that took thousands of years to form. Still, not all encounters end in violence. Conservation efforts grow quietly across Sri Lanka, led by those who understand that the leopard is not an enemy, but a guardian of balance. Camera traps reveal individuals never seen by human eyes, proving survival where none was expected. Corridors are protected. Awareness spreads slowly, like roots beneath the soil. Where understanding replaces fear, coexistence becomes possible. One night, beneath a sky heavy with stars, a leopard crosses a road. Headlights freeze it in place for a breathless second. Muscles tense. Then it vanishes into darkness, swallowed by the forest on the other side. To the driver, it is a moment. To the leopard, it is another calculated risk in a life built entirely on them. Every night demands decisions, and every decision shapes whether the island will still have a predator at its peak tomorrow. Somewhere deep within the forest, a young leopard practices its first independent hunt. It misjudges distance, strikes too early, fails. Hunger tightens its body, but it does not panic. It waits again and again. Eventually, instinct aligns with opportunity, and success follows. This is how the species continues, not through certainty, but through persistence. For every leopard that vanishes, another learns, adapts, and claims a future written in shadow. As years pass, scars accumulate, teeth wear down, strength fades slowly, almost imperceptibly. Older leopards hunt smaller prey, avoid conflict, choose safety over dominance. One day, they will not wake. Their bodies will return to the soil, feeding insects, plants, and the forest itself. Even in death, they give back to the land that shaped them. Balance is never broken, only transferred. And so the island breathes on. The forests stand, the reservoirs reflect the sky, and beneath it all, the leopard remains, a living force, unseen but essential. It is not a symbol, not a legend, but a real animal navigating a shrinking world with ancient precision. Its power is not loud. Its rule is not declared. It exists in patience, in restraint, in the perfect timing of movement and stillness. As night falls once more over Sri Lanka, shadows stretch across the land, and the forest remembers who belongs to it. Somewhere, a leopard begins to move, rosettes dissolving into darkness, carrying the weight of evolution in every silent step. As long as there are shadows deep enough to hide it, and wild places willing to hold it, the Sri Lankan leopard will endure, quiet, watchful, and perfectly adapted to the rhythm of the island it calls home.